Following a fun wedding, Episode 3 of Star Trek, Strange New World Season 3 takes a darker turn as Batel is saved by a disturbed crew member named Klingon, the closest Star Trek has ever been to The Walking Dead. The following contains Strange New World Season 3 Episode 3 spoilers. Pike observes that Batel is going to depart for a new command when shuttle to Kenfori begins with the Enterprise on a scouting mission. Mbenga reveals that the Gorn tissue is reforming in her body when he finds her unconscious on the floor. According to Spock, a rare flower might have a substance that could cure the sickness. The fact that the flower is only found on the planet Kenfori, a no-fly zone that has been uninhabited since the Earth-Klingon War, of course presents a difficulty. They must enter alone because doing so violates several treaties, and Pike offers to accompany Mbenga. With number 1 warning everyone of the repercussions of being discovered, Ortegas is blatantly eager to fly into restricted Klingon space. Pike and Mbenga are told to go back or die, in the Klingon language as they ride a shuttle through an asteroid field. Both guys are perplexed by the absence of anything other than vegetation and even animals on the planet. While joking about Chapel's romance and their own relationships, they discover the abandoned research site. As a result, they find the remains of a Klingon that seem to have been ripped apart by a beast. To locate the flower, the two enter the building for some traditional spooky surroundings, suspense. With Mbenga claiming that this was her only genuine chance, Pike is curious to see if this could actually heal Batel. Amidst the plants, Pike is flung to discover a leg that has been chewed off. The crew of the Enterprise notices what appears to be an anomaly, but Ortegas pushes on a more thorough scan, which reveals a Klingon battleship that is cloaked. Because he believes Una might be a scavenger, Ortegas is wary of her. A Klingon fighter flies by and blows up Pike and Mbenga's shuttle as they depart, signaled by the severed leg. A female leads 3 Klingon into the building to pursue Pike and Mbenga. One Klingon is prepared to shoot Mbenga during a brief firefight when a group of forms, all gray-skinned and literally feasting on the Klingon, attack. The forms include human, Klingon, and other aliens. Yes, space zombies are here. Spock suggests a mind meld as a way to ease Batel's suffering while Gamble tends to him. At first, it appears to work, but then both of them experience such intense pain that Spock screams, and at one point he starts to see the world as a Gorn would. With both Spock and Batel recognizing something more profound was going on with her, Chapel actually knocks him out of it. Scotty attends the conference in place of Pelia after number 1 reports that the shuttle's comms are down. Without the Klingon knowing, they must enter emergency transporter range, which would leave them with very little power. Ortegas publicly stated, "That won't work for me, and they must work more quickly. It would also take 4 hours. She proposes something that no one has ever tried before, mostly due to its insane nature warping straight into the planet's atmosphere, beaming the two out and warping out. In fact, Scotty discusses how it might work if Una chooses the slower approach. Lon is upset over Ortegas's near insubordination and possible premature return to duty. Since the roof array is the primary means of communicating with the Enterprise, Pike and Mbenga see that the animals do not register on life signs once they return to Earth. A cursory review of the records reveals that a peculiar moss has been created to stave off hunger, but as the Klingons strike, the moss is released, mutating and transforming them all into what Pike publicly refers to as zombies, and even likens them to xenomorphs. Pike deduces that Mbenga and Spock intend to transform Batel into a human/Gorn hybrid instead of providing a complete treatment. It turns out that Batel is already aware of this and is trying to keep Chris in the dark. The zombies' attack interrupts Pike's astonishment, and the Klingon rescue them. When one is bitten, the female leader just uses his attacker to vaporize him. When the Klingon summons her shuttle on the roof, a swarm of undead is roused, and Pike promptly surrounds them with a force field. The Klingon stabs Pike in the leg when he requests a weapon. She claims to be Baisa, the daughter of Ambassador Ra, the Klingon Mbenga killed in Season 2, and has been hunting Mbenga. While passing through the field, the Enterprise collides with one of the nearby objects, which appear to be clear at first until the Klingon ship spots them. Baisa is surprisingly unoffended by Mbenga's murder of her father, whom she perceived as a traitor and weakling who desecrated their home. Killing Mbenga is the wisest course of action since she is angry that she was unable to save him. Honor in Klingon can be strange. In an attempt to get Mbenga to confess to killing Ra in cold blood, Baisa presses a knife to Pike's throat. Actually, Ortegas responds to number 1 by saying that diplomacy is no longer an option. As the Klingon prepare for battle, number 1 allows Ortegas to do fancy maneuvers while Mbenga and Baisa prepare to fight the old-fashioned way, complete with knives and a blood-stained scarf to tie them together. Despite winning, Mbenga declines to murder Bisa. Bisa seizes the opportunity to exit in a blaze of glory as the field descends, bringing as many of the animals down with her as she can. Scotty's initial miracle of getting the engines to run in the atmosphere causes everyone to momentarily lose their sense of gravity as the Enterprise speeds down to the planet. Bisa fights to the death and Pike and Mbenga are beaming. The Klingon assault as the Enterprise warps out. Because he is concerned about how it would affect Batel, Pike's log informs us that they have the flower for the therapy. But since this entire expedition was illegal, Pike does promise Mbenga that he won't report him for killing Ra. In order to force Number 1 to follow her plan, Una calls Ortegas on the carpet for purposefully igniting the impulse power to warn the Klingon.